I'm waiting for this. I don't know why it takes more than 30 seconds to set up the thing for YouTube. Anyway, all right, so we're now on YouTube. And we're also, I did this last time, but let's try. Let's see with recording. I'm more impressed with the YouTube. So now I'm going to share the screen and right, so here's our lecture today. We're looking at some basic elements of information systems. So before we get into the slide, remember you could have all looked at this in advance. So whether you're doing this class because it's required, or perhaps you're a computer science student doing it out of a choice, computer science students have only do 2 electives and they can choose this. Can anybody tell me the difference in your mind, I guess it's fine, between IT, information technology, and IS, information systems? Go. Don't all speak at once. Sorry, when you all did INT 1001, that was information technology. This class is foundational information systems. Are we saying that nobody in second, third, or fourth year who's enrolled in this class can make a guess without going to Google as to what might be the difference between IT and IS? Hello? I need to call on somebody. Let me look. We have 19 people plus me.
Miss?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Uh-huh. Go ahead.
I believe that the difference is that information technology basically deal with like the basic components involved within a computer and how it like stores and saves information and like the details specifically around that itself.
And by the way, what are those components called?
Like the basic input-output processing.
Oh, you got to the process, okay. But what are the components that enable that IPOS as an input processing output storage? What are those components called again?
Gosh.
Who knows this? They're called hardware and software.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, sorry. I mean, we know this. So then what in the world? And then some people also call the term ICT because the C stands for communication. So some people, instead of using IT, now use ICT because we want to make sure we include networks. So then, since we're saying that IS and IT not the same, so now let's hear what is IS. Go ahead, Stephen or Stefan.
It's Stefan. You mean information system itself? Mm-hmm. Well, that technically deals with more like how information is technically, well, in my mind, I think it's deal with more how information is stored within the system itself. So it focuses mainly on the storage aspect because it can look in further like that because it branches out to like things like databases and other programs like that deals with storage and
interesting, Stefan. Are you an enterprise? Are you an enterprise system student or computer science? Huh?
No, I'm information systems.
Oh, this is your first class in IS?
Not exactly.
Not exactly. Well, that's interesting. Anybody else wants to? He's on the money for the IT, as in he's correct in my mind. Yeah, you might because anybody wants to add to what he said about IS? Add or subtract? In fact, let me ask another very direct question to everybody, including Stefan. Is information systems bigger or smaller or the same size as IT? Guesses are fine. Oh, Daniel says bigger. Good guess, Daniel. Why is that? Joshua said bigger. Yes? Go ahead. Okay, we get some biggers. Nobody wants to say why. Well, I guess let's go back to my lecture since I guess perhaps the answer is in my lecture, I guess. I don't know. Why is this not working? There we go. So let's just look at what this definition on the screen says. It says that IT is an arrangement of people. That's not in IT. Data processes, interfaces, and technology that interacts to produce information. Now, the thing about it is IT can be used inside or outside of a business organization. Typically, we only use the term information systems when we're talking about organization. So both businesses and nonprofits is typically where we use the term information systems. And by the way, there are manual information systems and computer-based information systems, and they always include people. So it is the people and the data as well as all of the IT that we talked about earlier, which includes the hardware, software, and the networks. Yeah, of course, you want to have interfaces. And typically organizations has processes. You know, so if you're at your house, typically the way you use your computer, typically, exceptions, typically it's not with processes. I mean, unless you're a super organized person who decide that you're going to maybe have your no, I hear you. Yes, Joshua, you're correct. Like you're going to like manage your finances in a formal process that you create your budget and then you actually put your actual and then you compare it after your process inside your house. But typically we don't think of individual use of computer systems as an information system. But the big goal of all information systems is for some use, including problem solving, decision making, and just the everyday business processes. Now, a lot of people tend to think of foreign business, tend to think of business processes as only the ones that make money. So, for example, a financial transaction is a business process. But let's take a university. Business process also include things like student application, which is a whole series of steps. Don't you remember? It includes registration, which includes a whole series of steps. It includes hiring staff. Hiring staff doesn't include money yet. All of that has a whole series of steps. All of those are business processes. So an information system is definitely bigger than IT because it involves the people and the data and the processes, which might involve computer systems that will help a organization make well-organized business processes. Because remember, business processes can be really poor. So the idea is to support effective business processes to solve problems and to make good decisions. That's the idea. There's something in the chat. Yes, there is a fan in the background, and I've actually turned it away because the last class was calling about the fan, and I'm now boiling. If I turn it away, and guys still having a problem, it's just me. And I've turned the fan away from me, boiling up. Daniel, are you able to hear me? So the crackling, if you want to call it that, is a fan. So I can turn off the fan and be really boiling up for a whole hour. It's really, really, what do you call it? The circulation here is really poor. Well, apart from that, there's somebody who's doing cleaning, and there's another coworker who's actually also doing his class, and he is much lower than me. Yes, I have headphones on. If I took off the headphones, it was much worse. So I'm actually hearing the coworker very loud who is lecturing. Can you hear me? It's actually really now to turn off the fan, even not being on me, is really terrible. So Joshua, can you hear me? The mic is being shuffled. Maybe I'm not staying steady. I've put the mic closer to my mouth. Can you hear me better? Hello? Ah, there we go. And so the last thing, I'm going to turn back on the fan and just not point it towards me. And I'm going to talk as, I can talk really loud. I just don't want to. Who can see your message? What message? Can't you see my message? Okay, right. So let's continue because we're back to this. We actually have a couple things to actually go through. Why is this not? Oh, here we go. Yes. So this will not be a complete shock. So remember when you did INT 1001, we looked at IPOS as in input, processing, output, and storage. For some reason, I don't know why this particular figure, which I didn't create, doesn't have storage on it. But in addition to that system, in an organization, we actually have to think about the suppliers, the customers, the stockholders, obviously, the competitors, unless it's a monopoly, and any agency that might regulate the business if it is applicable. And so when we're thinking of a information system, we're thinking of all of this. And here's one example of an information system. So if you look on the left, the data is for a supermarket, or is it it's a store? I'm sure it's a supermarket. I think it's a supermarket because they're selling soap for $1.29, and this is the code. Coffee, some cat food maybe. And actually, if you notice, you have the soap 3 times. So they're selling a whole bunch of things. So as to whether this is just one transaction or over the day, I don't know. And on this side, you see it's information. And just for those who don't know what these terms are, this is obviously year-to-date sales. This is the unit sales of the soap dish over here. And it was done in the Northwest in a superstore. This is obviously a big chain, number 122. And this is item 331 over. Can anybody, this is really basic, tell me the difference between data and information? Go. And even though this tells me that that data is raw, I don't know what in the world, what is there being cooked? So can we explain the difference between data and information without using the word raw?
One is user-friendly, meaning the
what does that mean? Mm-hmm.
So the raw data doesn't really tell you what you're doing.
Well, I said don't use raw. This is just data. Data is just facts. No man, data is facts. Yeah man. So data is facts. What is information? Why is
data? I guess the answer is how you understand those facts.
Yeah, so I like somebody in the class on Monday, they said it's meaningful. Right. So information is organized or processed data so that a decision maker or a manager or a supervisor, somebody can use the data in some way. So for example, here, like this, I don't know anything about this store, but since I noticed that on this short list here, that soap coming up a lot, it seems that we probably should keep selling soap because it's here and it has quite a number. What we don't have here is what is the profit margin. So we don't know how much money they're making per bar of soap, and that's what I would love to know. But clearly we see that they're selling soap. So if we wanted to, we would probably want more than this information to decide whether we should order more soap or whether we should continue to sell soap. But the point is, this is useful. This alone, we can't do much with until we organize it in a way. Anyway, I think you all knew this already, so let's go on. Useful information has at least five characteristics. It's relevant, it's complete, it's accurate, it's current, and it's economical, which is a best case. So why would information be relevant? Because usually when somebody is a decision maker, they only want information that's important to their decision in a way that they can understand. If possible, we want it to be complete. So back to this, like I was saying here, that I want to know, like, so how much does the soap cost? So I want to know, like, so how much are we making per bar of soap? So even though this is useful, it's not complete. So we want more information so we can make good decisions. And then while I'm at it, I want to know, how does the soap compare to the ham and the mustard and the cat food? So we can do some comparison. So, but I mean, that was a quick show. We want it to be accurate, because clearly if it's not accurate, we're not going to, the example I used a few days ago would be about the current vaccines. That seems to be people are most concerned about accuracy. So know that there is a lot of data showing that the Pfizer vaccine actually leads to reduction in severity of COVID cases, etc. That is assuming that information is accurate. That would be why the US federal FDA, was it Food Drug Administration, would have given it the full approval. And for any business, if you want to decide, if you don't have accurate information, decision is going to be problematic. And you want it to be current. So if you want to make a timely decision within an organization, whether it's a nonprofit or a business, if it's very old, the decision won't be useful. I would say that the first 4 are maybe the most important, but there can be a situation that the information you get is too expensive. So if you want to before you do marketing, you may want to get some information about what type of marketing is most useful. But if the marketing research costs more than the positive impact of the marketing, it's not a good economic decision. So you also want to make sure that your research to get useful information is not more than the positive benefits. So this is what we had said before. Said that IT is a smaller thing than the information system. And I don't even know, I did not make this diagram. Here am I disagreeing with the diagram from the textbook. Remember textbooks are. But a business process is in an organization. At the end of it, this is a little bit funny because every business has, or every firm, which could be a nonprofit too. So every firm or business has a series of processes which manual or computer information system support. And I would kind of put them at the same level, but no matter what, these two go hand in hand. So whether you decide to do, in fact, let me just ask everybody, can anybody think of a Jamaican business? It can be as micro as you want. I don't care whether it's a gigantic company or any store at UTech, 237 Old Hope Road. Give me an example of a business where computer information system may not be necessary at all. Go, anybody. I don't want to speak at once. So wait, everybody here thinks that every single business in every instance needs every business process to be automated? Oh, something is in the chat. Let's see what's in the chat.
Modern society, yes.
Huh? So, okay, hold on 1 second. So who's that, Joshua? Who's talking?
Faster, miss, faster.
Foster, the first name. Anyway, Foster. So let's get Foster. You've been to 237 Old Hope Road at least once?
Repeat, please, miss.
You've been to the main campus at UTech?
Yes, miss.
Okay. You've ever noticed at the bus shop that there are some people selling some goods?
Miss, we didn't know compare.
Hold on, that's a business. My name not Miss Sam, Prof, teach anything. Back to the story. Who here don't call those businesses?
Miss, I think the question is framed weirdly because those businesses could benefit from information systems, but they don't have them implemented. Okay, then good. Explain then. No problem. So let's go back to the man or woman at the bus stop. Let's see. Tell me all their business processes. Let's see if you understand them. So what are they selling? They might be selling telephone top up. Well, I know. Let's go to what they're doing. Let's give a real example. So business A, I say business Austin selling cards for Flow and Digicel and a few snacks. Tell me what information system they will benefit from. Go, anybody, go. I'm being serious. Go right now. We're going to talk about it. Oh, like what would you call it? The accounting one, like a balance sheet. I don't remember what it's called.
Okay, so all right. So you're talking about a computer software system. All right. Let's go back to Austin. We're calling him Austin. So how much money is Austin making per month? Profit. not gross. Sorry, I hope everybody here knows what I'm talking about. Gross is what you make before profit. So we're talking about after all these expenses, is transportation, cost of goods, whatever. I don't know if he has somebody who works with him sometimes. There's actually somebody on UTech campus who actually has several employees selling for him. But yeah, so how much, let's go back to my Austin. Austin, how much is he making per month gross? 20,000, 100,000, what is he making?
52,000.
Okay, wow, we're so specific. 52,000 per month. So let me get this straight. So this software, does he have a computer already?
In modern day, most people do have computers of some form.
I'm not too sure about that. You know, listen,
Cellular
here,
phone.
to this properly, you know, I'm just trying to get to what you're saying. So, and then how does he get the accounting software? Are you suggesting that he steals it? So
Either free
listen to me.
or
No, listen to this carefully now. So you're going to, for your thing to work, he has to have a laptop already because he's making 52,000 per month, right? So if he doesn't have a laptop yet, or a desktop computer, is it going to be worth it to his business to buy a laptop? Let's even say that there's some free accounting software that he doesn't have to steal. You're not getting me. You have to do a cost benefit trade-off. What is sure, and this is what I agree with you, he needs to have an accounting system. But does the accounting system have to be computer based? That is all I'm saying. And so the only reason I'm going there with this right now is that so many students in UTech, I find, tend to just say that every business must have software, and it's not true. Every business must not have software. It's not always necessary. And but what a point I was said earlier though is very true. Many businesses that could have computer-based systems that would help them are not utilizing them to their peril. So that's happening quite a bit. There are some businesses that could have websites just to have just a website page just to improve their. I don't know. I went to Flow the other day and I went to their website, and can you believe it? All the money Flow is sending on TVJ ads during the Olympics, which is crazy, and post Olympics. So I went to their website because I was at the franchise store. All the stores are franchises. They don't have what I need. I'm saying, can I get the phone number? Oh, they're not the same business. Okay. So I Google it on my smartphone, which I have data. Then I see a 800 number to the US. Of course, I'm not calling the US to find out from, so I still don't have any way to unbelievable. So back to, they even have a website that the website is not effective. So back to, yeah, there's so many businesses that don't have information system at work and business processes that work, because I just wanted to figure out a way to upgrade my Wi-Fi because I'm renting from my father and the Wi-Fi, and we're on lockdown and trying to sort it out, and they don't have good business processes. This should be an easy way for me to find out that it's just a matter of getting the device, and then they're going to talk to me through the phone. The business process don't sort out, in my opinion. You follow me, guys? Because I'm going to be paying them more money, so you would think that they want me to do that. And I'm at a store, I'm about to leave the franchise, and I couldn't just either go on their website or right there in the store say, yes, just deliver. I would actually, based on everything, be willing to pay, because I know that I'm going to have to go sometime to the Lime store in person and wait for some long time just so I can pay them more money. Crazy. So whether it's a large company that needs better business processes or small companies, there are many companies that the business process is a problem, not necessarily the information system, but I think both of these go really hand in hand, and they both need examination. Anyway, so we don't want to spend too much time because we have a whole long lecture, and we're still at about slide 10. So the firm has both business processes, information systems, and IT, and all firms typically are within a big environment. If it's whether or not it's a competition or not, even if it's a nonprofit, there are other nonprofits that perhaps they're competing even for gifts. All right, so what we want to look at today, in the most part, is the drivers of information systems that helps the business. So those are operational excellence, new product services and business models, customer and supplier intimacy, improved decision making, competitive advantage, and survival. Now, clearly, we want the business to survive because the only way it's going to make profit is to survive. Sometimes there are times when businesses have to go through survival before they get back to making profit again. So we're going to go through each of these step by step. So for excellence, information systems, this is back to why a lot of you with good reason like want to say, yeah, ma'am, we want information systems in most businesses. If we think about the Walmart and the Amazon being the largest retail store online and Walmart being the largest retail in the US still right now, basically it's their information systems that basically made those companies essentially make the profits that they're making. So because Walmart has excellent ways in which they get their goods from suppliers between stores, that is why they're able to have excellent operational efficiency and making a whole heap of money in sales. So another way that businesses can have excellent making money is new product, services, and business models. Apple would have been the old best example of that. There are actually many others. I would actually say Google, even though I mentioned Google here on the operational excellence, I think Google would actually be an excellent example on the new product, services, and business models. And the Facebooks and all of that, they're always driving new ways of doing things. But Apple, as you know, they would have sold the first tune online, like convincing the music industry to actually, instead of I've been around so long that I was actually around when people only used to sell music in groups. So you had to buy a whole record to buy a song. And Apple convinced, as in Steve Jobs, who owned Apple, convinced the music industry to sell single songs and created all these various products, so it made a lot of money. And he actually did it so well that I'm not sure it's this way anymore, but Apple for a very long time have some people who believe in Apple so strongly that their part of their identity seems to be like that they must buy Apple products because they're so good. So Apple really has done the new product, services, and business models really well for a very long time. Clearly, when Steve Jobs left the company, it didn't do so well. So he came back and no, he's no longer alive. It's a whole story by itself. We don't have time for that right now. Oh, we have some things in the chat. What is it about Zachary? Zachary, you didn't know that? What I'm talking about Apple is a surprise?
Exactly, because Zachary is an Apple fan.
Come again?
He's an Apple lover.
Yes, miss. You had made
a statement about Apple?
A statement just about Apple in terms of what they've been doing for so many years that makes persons actually not only buy Apple products. And I'm saying, and just here was saying that we have a fellow student that happens to fall in that category.
Oh, okay, right. I'm still not sure. Sorry, just today, a while ago, I was talking to a colleague who's a technologist. And as I was trying to sort out, could he possibly help me with something with Zoom? And we were back and forth. You know, it was funny. My phone currently, which is an Android phone, is able to record on Zoom, and his cat. So I said, because I was just teasing, I said, my phone can do something yours can't, even though your probably costs a whole lot more. I was teasing because I was thinking he was like a typical Apple product user who just thinks everything Apple is better. And by the way, the first computer I ever bought in my entire life was an Apple. But I was in the US, and when I showed my father when I came back to Jamaica because I studied abroad, he was like, why would you buy that? I'm like, because it's a good computer and I was working hard and I wanted to buy it. Yeah, but I haven't kept up with that because it has been everything Apple is better, but I have a phone right now that can do my recording if I do the class on Zoom. But I hear you. I think that Apple is original for some people. I think we need to be a little bit objective. I think all products, one thing I do know, Apple historically has had better interfaces and better security. But to make a statement, everything Apple is better might be a stretch. You know, I don't have any personal I don't have any personal Daniel loves. Let's not go overboard here. Anyway, so and by the way, anybody here who wants to get me an Apple product so I can test to see if whatever Daniel of course is saying is true, you can always buy me one. But my birthday far away though, not till February. Maybe you can give me for Christmas as a present. Oh, Zachary can, yeah, maybe. Anyway, so where we are. No man, many other products have good cameras, not only Apple. My brother, who is many things, including a professional photographer, was saying to me that if all I wanted to do was to take good photo shots, cameras are good enough on phones. But if I want to do artistic work, the Canons and other brands of the world, if it's artistic photographs I want, then I might want to go there. But anyway, let's go back to we're going to run like last time. It's already what time? Oh my goodness, we're going to run to time. All this chatting. Yeah, it really depends. Right. So another way in which information systems can benefit the business is through customer and supplier intimacy. So and this is obvious now, if a company records what the customer's preferences are, then they can continue to treat that customer well. So you go to this Mandarin Oriental restaurants, they record everything that you prefer. What kind of chocolate, what kind of pillow do you prefer? A down pillow or a cotton pillow or whatever, how much thread, there are different kinds of feet. They record all of those things. And so that every time you come back, they are able to basically treat you exactly as you already indicated. JC Penney, as a US company, is able to have excellent relationship with its suppliers. Even how a business relates to their suppliers makes a difference as to how well the company does business. And in general, a really big important reason for businesses to invest in information systems. So for example, back to this guy, what do I call him? Austin. I don't see how Austin is going to benefit from operating excellence from that. He's not going to use any new business models. I'm not too sure about customer supplier. I'm wondering, can he make better decision making if he makes records? So I'm actually thinking if anything could help him, not just accounting software maybe could help him. I think more importantly, if he's able to figure out like what stuff is selling the most, that he will never have. What I see in Jamaica is a lot of you who sell things, they run out of the stock and they don't know what those things are. So, and I'm thinking that he could probably do it on the smartphone, which he probably already owns. So if he can just use very simple software that is on his phone already, he can probably make better decision making from the devices he already owns. Because back to what you said, almost every Jamaican, maybe over 80% in Kingston, maybe 90% in Kingston owns a smartphone. Because even if they didn't buy it themselves, they got it from a family abroad. So anyway, back to when you're thinking about what would actually help somebody in a business, you want to be cost effective. So we have an example here. So Verizon, these are all US examples because my US textbook has a digital dashboard to update managers about customer complaints, network performance, and line outages. Verizon is a telecom company. And I think that both Lime and Digicel, I'm not sure if they have this, but if they're having it, they're not using it to the best of their ability. My 2 cents. Competitive advantage. Is there anybody who would disagree with me on that? I hope not. If you use any of those products at all. Yeah, competitive advantage. We can actually use information systems in order to essentially beat the competitor. So most businesses achieve competitive advantage in one of 3 ways. Either it's based on low cost, as in price is competitive, or it is based on superior product, like high quality, or it is some kind of niche market. It's normally one of those three. And essentially, if a business tracks what's happening in the other businesses, they'll be able to figure out what they can do to respond to their competitor, you know, by basically keeping track of what's happening with the competitors. And then survival. So for example, Citibank, you know, they introduced automated teller machines, and then apparently everybody followed. Or I think, I'm not sure if they're the first or the last, but the point is, if everybody in your industry does something and you don't do it, you have a problem. If there's regulations, and in order to keep up with those regulations, you may actually need to buy information systems so you can prove that you're not breaking the law. You may actually need to purchase information system. And on a flip note, sometimes information systems purchased incorrectly can lead to the negative impact on a business, or even a business going out of business. I don't know if you know, but for large businesses, most of them that buy information systems, more than a half of them, the information systems is not successful initially. So organizational chart for IS department, this is only one possibility. There's a director, assistant director, and many different sections. Like, you know, if you develop software, they would have a analyst or manager with people who are programmers and analysts. You may have support managers if you have people who are technical in. You know, any company could decide to outsource any parts of this. This particular one, they decide to have a judiciary, because apparently something to with, there's some part of law that they require the information system to deal with the law, and this particular company has a GIS manager. So like maybe National Water Commission or GIS may need a GIS manager because their systems are across the country. They need to keep track of that. And then somebody pointed out a really good thing. There are many parts of the business. By the way, somebody in the class has their mic open. You might want to close it so that you, I know it's not me disturbing the class, unless you're talking. Right, so accounting, finance, and marketing are really important sections of a business that is important to make a firm do well. So accountants tend to use databases, networks, and accounting software to help with the business. Finance people tend to use a whole bunch of software, including just thinking about like managing clients, financial portfolio. So like, you know, like you might buy on the stock market, there are all kind of software programs that help to track investment decisions. That can be very important. Marketing, you actually, even before we had online marketing, people were using computer systems to analyze marketing decisions. But certainly in the last, 20 years of online with e-commerce and the like, there's more and more need for digital marketing and a number of computer systems like Salesforce management, customer relationship management, which is all related to marketing decisions. So we've been talking about IS as a thing. Now we're going to talk about the people some more. So who is an IS professional? Does at least two things: speaks to the technical people and speaks to the business people. Why is that kind of person important? Well, the customers explain it this way. The product, I'm going from left to right at the top. The project leader understood it somewhere different. I don't know why the analyst designed it in a way that can't make any sense to anybody. The programmer did something different. The business consultant described it differently. And look as if there was no documentation, because I guess nobody thought it was important. It was installed completely improperly. The customer was billed in a ridiculous manner, which it was not supported at all. And all the customer really needed was a nice swing on a tire. But the point is, why in the world would this be that the information system is important? Because typically the person who is, this might be an extreme example, the person who is writing specs and the people who are the customers can't understand each other. And I think I won't have enough time today, but another time I will give an example, one example of me going to Bureau of Standards. I think I might have said it before in my tutorial, but not today, or to be out of time. So I had started alluding to this earlier. So IT projects can fail. Only about 20%. I need to look up this, I need to update this up to date. I need to Google the up-to-date statistics. So up to, was that 12 years ago, only 20% of IT projects were satisfactory, and generally the failure rate were larger IT projects. What are the reasons why these projects fail? Tend to be lack of user input, incomplete requirements and specs, changing requirements and specs, lack of executive support, like as in literally maybe someone at the top decides, but the rest of the middle managers don't agree, and sometimes it's technical incompetence. And I know that this is not changing no matter what year this says. It's just a matter of what is the order. It might change as time passes. And so what are the reasons? Some projects run into both cost and time overruns, and 65, well, this is really old data, but 65% of those that are runaways, meaning take longer than is expected and take more money than is expected. Right, so some of them are going to overrun, and then some of them are really crazy into overruns, 2 to 3 times over budget and schedule. And then they're saying that most of this is to do with poor communication. And based on all of my work experience to date, and I've worked at 2 software development companies. I mean, those are only one for 10 months and one for 2.5 years. But even my work at UTech, I understand how much communication is critical to a business working well. And so this number, based on my work experience, seems to be to bode really well, both in terms of my software development, actual real world example. I went to Bureau of Standards in 2017. No, 2000, what year is this now? 2013, right? And I also saw some serious poor communication at Bureau of Standards that relate to a software project having some serious problems. This is just something that goes on and on and on. Inside Jamaica, outside Jamaica, this is a regular problem. And so we're going to be talking about how to help information systems not only solve the technical problems, but the people problems and the organizational problems. So the IS professional is going to look at organizational problems because few business problems are actually straightforward. And as I just said, 3 main categories: organization, technology, and people. A lot of the techie people among you here are thinking, yeah, man, once you solve the tech, everything is Chris. No, guys. People and organization actually can be harder to solve than techie problems. So typical organization problems are outdated business processes, unsupported culture and attitudes, as in the people don't like that somebody decided to put in place an information system. By political infighting, we don't mean that there is party politics. It means that there is, how can I put it properly? People don't get along, and they sometimes even form informal tribes within an organization. It just doesn't work. If the environment is changing and we are all going through a turbulent business environment, it's called COVID. Everything, you know what the businesses that are failing right now? If you were in the middle of putting in place an information system or maintaining it, it's going to be harder than ever. If the task is complex, if the resources are inadequate, whether it's time or money or anything else, obviously all of those can lead to problems in the organization. The kind of technical problems include problems with hardware, problems with software, the database not having enough storage, problems with the network, incompatibility of old systems and new systems are not proper. The systems, the middleware to have the data go between the old and the new systems, and technology is changing rapidly. So everybody knows, and this is super obvious, that you can't solve a problem unless you recognize that there's a problem. So, but I don't know if you know that many people won't agree that there's a problem. So once you agree there's a problem, then there's a possibility of designing a solution, evaluating of the possible solution, which one's the best one, and then implementing. And one thing that's missing on this diagram is maintenance, because many information systems don't invest in good maintenance. So that really should be on the diagram, in my opinion. I personally think that this word should just be good thinking, not critical thinking, but critical thinking is just thinking well. So sustained suspension of judgment with an awareness of multiple perspectives and alternatives. You have to think well about how to solve a problem. So we said this already, and I'm going to say it again. And I put in these up-to-date articles for anybody who's thinking whether now or in the future of being in charge of information systems. If you're in America, it tends to be called a chief information officer. In Jamaica and British system, they're called many other things, but you can go to this Forbes article to actually read about real IT leaders. And these two articles are about differences in CIO between 2020 and 2021. And I did a search, a couple of days ago, it was Saturday. And these are information officer positions available in Jamaica, available right now or available recently. So these are jobs that are being hired. So we do have a need for information systems. And I see that the time says 3 minutes to 4. So any questions, comments? Oh, I think I'm supposed to, while waiting for your comments, let me look for the, where do I have it? Look for the course outline. Here it is, course outline, which I'm opening. And probably I should share a screen. Here we go. Share screen again. That's not the right thing. I guess let's go to screen. That might be the easiest way. Except, oh, I'm still on the slideshow. Yes, all right. So let's make this bigger. All right, so this is already on the, I'm only showing you what's already on the slide. It's already on the Moodle site. And so the assessments for this course, by the way, the semester ends November 20th, which is a Saturday. I just put this on there. And the weeks 14th, I think December, whatever date, the next 2 weeks, all final assessments must be done by. The coursework has a final exam, which is, the course has a final exam, which is 40%. The coursework is a presentation individually 10% in your tutorial, a test 20%, which will be, I guess, in the lecture time. There'll be a case, there'll be a group project, which is a case where you do both a paper and a presentation, as well as class participation. So, yeah. I have a question, students. You might have questions for me, but I have a question. For the final exam, I'm going to need to set an exam time that is for both the tutorial groups. Yeah, right. Do you guys in fact, let's not think about it right this second. I want to know if you guys are going to have a preference, because at the end of it, we'll only have a 1 hour time, and the lecture is the exam is going to be unless myself and the tutor decides otherwise, it should typically be a 2 hour exam. So there is going to possibly be a clash. And not only I have 2 classes that have 2 different times, the exam is typically 2 hours. So I want to start planning when will the exam be? Soon. Anybody has any thoughts yet? No thoughts?
Sam, I have a question, but
sure. Go ahead with your question.
Should I do a register for Tuesday and another one for Wednesday? Two different registers?
Oh, you're my class rep for Tuesday?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Oh, my class was on Tuesday.
Yeah.
I thought it was, no man, it was Monday.
Them days.
Huh?
I think it was Monday for reals. Monday.
Yeah, man, Monday. I'm like, you're gone far. I'm like, trust me, Tuesday, I actually went with my father. Can you imagine? I sneaked out. No, it was Monday, right? I went to the doctor with my father on Monday. That's when we had the class. Yes, right. Sorry, guys, you're allowed to go out. If you should take a register, it would be nice. So I was really asking for the register for the tutorial, but if you can manage for the lecture too, that I would appreciate it. So I would say that's optional.
I'll see what I can do then.
Yeah, but we don't need to decide anything about the final yet. But okay, so the last thing I want to say to everybody is that there is a that's the last thing, because I actually have a meeting now and then another class. Let me see if I can find this. Just remind you that in where do I have this, or should I open it again? I don't even know where this thing is. That's not it. I don't know where this is. Let's just open a new instance. I don't know. Oh, here it is. You take online. Let's just open this again. Log in. That would work. Right. So if you go to this class, which is this, so if you go to this class, you see that on the week 1, you have this case discussion. So for next week's tutorial, please do the reading and anything else your tutor has told you. Okay, that's it really for me, because we're now out of time, and I wish you a excellent week. Stay safe. Please follow all protocols. I would even suggest that you even go ahead and take the vaccine. I have done so I'm not saying you must do it because I have done it, but please, I would like all of you to be in good health at the end of the semester. And we're in the middle of our 3rd wave, which is, as you most of all noticed, very serious. So guys, take care. I will see you next week. Have a good one now.